Welcome to the Mismatch. I'm Chris Vernon, and joining me as he does every week from TheRinger.com is Dave Jacoby. Jacoby!
I've been thinking about this before we recorded. Outside of the playoffs, I cannot think of another night in which I enjoyed the full collection of games the way I did. Like, there's been singular games that were much better than that experience of watching what we watched last night, but there was about a 70 to 80 minute window that just absolutely floored me. Like, that was the best regular season NBA experience from the collection, from the full slate that I can ever remember in my whole entire life.
It was absolutely unbelievable. It did remind me of what you opined, which is the witching hour.
It was the witching hour.
Which is what they say on NFL Red Zone every week. God forbid anybody had to watch that dreadful Monday Night Football game, because the NBA put on the best action ever. I mean, you couldn't have a worse football game. No entertainment level whatsoever. And meanwhile, in the NBA, literally every game was going down to the last shot, some of which were in overtime.
Well, even I was paying zero attention to Suns Pelicans. I was just like, you know what? There's so much going on. Like, you can't watch all the games, right? I got one TV in my phone. You know what I mean? I got two screens. And then at the end of it all, I'm looking through the other games. Like, Grayson Allen did what?
10
Grayson
threes.
Allen had 42 points, hit 10 threes, and it is like the 17th most impactful thing that happened last night.
Well, it is crazy because Luka had a great game, and it was a double-digit win for the Lakers.
Yeah. You're listening to The Mismatch, presented by FanDuel. FanDuel now displays your bets directly on your phone's lock screen. And with the latest updates to the live events and player pages, it's never been easier to be part of the game. And Missouri, get excited, because FanDuel's coming your way December 1st. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app now and play your game. Remember, you must be 21 and over and present in select states, or 18 and over and present in D.C., Kentucky, or Wyoming. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut.
And then you look at the rest of it and what is going on, and let's just start with Magic Trailblazers, which ended Desmond Bane, who we have chronicled on this show, having a really rough go fitting in with the Magic at the beginning of the season. What a moment for him, and what a moment for that team. I mean, this game goes down to the very end of the game, and Bane has one of those game winners where you don't want to be prisoner of the moment, but that's going to be one of the best game winners of the entire NBA season. We're only 10 games into the season.
It wasn't the best game winner of last night. It wasn't the best game winner of last night. And I think what's important about the Bane thing is he has sucked in Orlando. Like, he's been bad. And it's been weird. And the vibes have been so bad. And up until that point, he was 0 for 5 from 3.
Yep.
Like, they lose that game, and he's 0 for 6 from 3. Like, there's finger pointing all over the place. And Paolo, he missed 2 huge free throws down the stretch. Like, there were some real performances you could point to if they lose that game. And then Bane hits that miracle, and then they hit the theme song. Hit it, Verno.
Orlando Magic. Orlando Magic. Orlando Magic. You know what was crazy? I started getting a bunch of texts last night after the game because they mentioned that was his first game winner ever. I was like, really? I know, and I watched every game of his career, and I was like, he never hit a game winner.
I'd probably buzzer beater. He probably hit game winners, but just not buzzer beaters. You know what I mean? Because buzzer beaters are more rare. But that was it was such a good game, and that really set the tone. Because I believe that was the first one. That was like the very first one that set the tone.
Yes, that was great. Obviously, is a great win for the Orlando Magic. Then we've got to. I mean, we're just having to flip. And Cade Cunningham with his 46-point stat line. I mean, I think they said he had taken 41 field goals in the first in regulation. Like, by the time they got to overtime, he had taken 41 field goals. He ended up taking 45 shots. He was 14 of 45, but also to go along with his 14 for 45, he ends up with 46 points, 12 rebounds, and 11 assists. And yet, prior to this game and the Wizards throwing it away at the end and the comeback by the Pistons, you're texting me because I'm on the other game, and you're texting me going, CJ McCollum is killing the Pistons.
CJ McCollum, he had 16 points in the first quarter. Like, McCollum was like vintage, unstoppable. He looked smooth. He looked in control. He's getting to his spot. He's getting whatever he wanted. And I think Cade needed to do this because I think it's easy to point to him like, oh, no one's done this since Kobe and no one's done this since like 1977 or whatever. But I just want to list who was missing for the Pistons. Tobias, LeVert, Beef Stew, Jaden Ivey, and Asir Thompson. Yep. So it's almost like Cade woke up that morning and when he put his shoes on, he was like, I'm going to have to shoot 45 times for us to win this game, especially with the way McCollum was playing. It was so much fun to watch.
It was so much fun to watch, and obviously that Pistons team has got that duo with him and Duren, and you've talked about how much you love Duren over the course of the past couple of weeks, and he has been sensational for them. But you're right. They were like super shorthanded in that game, and he just took over the game. The Cam Whitmore dunk on the baseline, though, I don't want that to get lost in this because that was one of the great dunks of the season.
There's something he does things with panache and style, which I really appreciate. And he is bouncy as all hell. And I think a couple of things about the Cade performance was not only did Whitmore do that, but he had like a chase down block attempt on Cade that took Cade out of the air and he landed on his tailbone. And then Whitmore stands over him. They review it. So Cade's hurt. Cade gets helped off to the bench, ends up in the locker room, but they review it because Whitmore stood over Cade. And JB gets a tech, and then Whitmore, after the review, gets a tech, but the review allows Cade to come back out from the locker room and get back in the game. Because if he doesn't take the free throws, he can't come back in the game. And I think that it's easy to sort of like watch the rest of the game, but let's not forget that Cade, before overtime, before all of that, was in the locker room and being helped off the floor, which like I think that it's easy to point to all the field goal misses, but like this was a singular sort of superstar performance from Cade that was amazing. And I'm sorry, I just want to apologize to Dennis Jenkins and the Dennis Jenkins family. I am not familiar with your game. I did not know much about you, Mr. Jenkins. But, you know, if you didn't see it, they ran a play for Robinson, but Duren like falls on the ground and gets pushed. He's looking for like a foul, and the play is just blown up. And Jenkins is in the corner, and they give him the ball, and he hits a crazy three to take it to overtime. But if you watch the replay, if you listen to this podcast, this shot is gonna find your algorithm at some point.
Yes.
Just look at how high he gets off the ground. He's like 3 feet off the ground when he releases that ball.
You got Jenkins, and then the other one was when Javonte Green had that dunk. I was like, what?
Well, he missed a three in the corner, and then Duren gets the rebound because he's Duren. And it wasn't the best defense because they completely forgot about him. And then Duren made a nice pass to him. But that game alone, if that was one of the 9 games, the rest of them were stinkers, that was fantastic.
Well, and
great game.
We would go without, we'd be remiss if we did not mention that right now, outside of the Oklahoma City Thunder, who have only been, they've lost one game, which was, they were up by 22, I think, against Portland when Denny Avdia and them came back. So that's a one game.
Second of a back-to-back, missing a bunch of people too.
That they lost. Denver has lost 2 games thus far. And then the only other one, and in the Eastern Conference, the only team that has 2 losses through these first 10 or 11 games is the Detroit Pistons. And yet you watch them, and it feels a lot like Cade's going to have to take over in this fourth quarter. And they've been down, guys. And to start off this season, 9-2, this has been a fantastic start, a dream start for Detroit so far.
And I was just thinking, I was watching the game and watching
the
crowd.
Pistons won again.
The Pistons won again.
The Pistons won again.
I was thinking about like 2 years ago, just what that building felt like. like when they were so bad and they all wanted Tom Gore's out and it was like empty and quiet and just like, and the energy in there was just crazy. I do want to mention this though. One of my favorite players, B-Ball Paul, steps to the line with a chance just to finish it all and just misses 2 free throws back to back.
Tough.
It's just like B-Ball Paul. Come on.
That's tough. That's tough.
But the Pistons win again.
The Pistons win again. All right, we got the Heat and the Cavs. Okay. Now, in the interest of full disclosure, I'm watching this game. We're watching it come down to the end. Donovan Mitchell hits the crazy 3 from the corner to tie this game. I
just want to describe it because Merrill missed a 3. And then Donovan chases it down. It's like this is not like they ran him a play for him and he had to catch and shoot 3. This was like a broken play. Merrill missed a 3. Donovan chases it down, turns around and hits one of the craziest shots.
Okay. So this happens. At this point, I'm like, oh, wow. Like we just saw this Bane game winner. Now we've got a Donovan Mitchell one. This is crazy. This game's going into overtime. And then I am in the bedroom. My wife calls me, and I run into the kitchen. She's like, hey, can you come here for a second? So I run in there.
You have plenty of time because there's like 7 minutes until overtime.
It's overtime. So I was like, yeah. So I run in there and start talking to my phone starts going off. It's you. You're like, oh, my God, or whoa, or whatever. I'm like, hold on. What happened? I ran into the kitchen. And then you're like, I'm not going to tell you. Run back to the TV. And, of course, at that point, I run back to the TV. I'm like, I didn't even know there was time to get a playoff. Like, I thought that took it into overtime. I didn't even realize it wasn't a buzzer beater. And so there's 0.4 seconds left on the clock. And by the time I go in, I see the Wiggins dunk off the inbounds. Just a disastrous defensive possession for the Cleveland Cavaliers. And I've seen this happen before. I have witnessed this in person, right? Like the front of the rim lob where guys get caught up. And sure enough, Spoelstra draws it up. They've got the lob to Andrew Wiggins, ball game. And what a way to finish that. And film session is going to be a bitch for the Sam Merrill, for the switching, for everything else that took place that led to this.
I felt like that was more of a great play than bad defense. You know what I mean? Like I've watched it a few times and I was like, ooh, this was all intentional. There's a decoy after a decoy, dice and double dice, triple dice. Like that was one that they've had in the back pocket. And, I know you have something personal against him, but man, Jaquez, like in the absence of Hero, like Jaquez has all that promise he showed in his rookie year sort of like deflated last season. And he started this season. It wasn't just last night. Like I think he had like 13 rebounds or something last night. Like he's sort of like a go-to scorer when they need a bucket. You know, they're playing this like sort of free flow, no plays, no picks thing. And he's absolutely thriving this season.
Well, look, and we talked about this because obviously I watched a portion of this offense for a long time last year. If you have the ability to score on people, right? Like just because you are freed up, right? This can become one-on-one basketball where I'm getting my opportunity, or certainly you're getting it emotional while somebody's scrambling to try to come and get you. And we talked about how Bam Adebayo's numbers were fantastic at the beginning of the season. And I said it is very reminiscent to me of what I watched with Jaren Jackson Jr. last year, who had a chance at All-NBA, made the All-Star team, the whole deal. And some guys can really, really benefit from that. Certainly with this free-flowing, without a bunch of screens being set, without getting the extra attention that you would typically get in a average NBA offense. And so Jaquez is one of those guys that has certainly thrived from what they have been able to do now and the different way they are playing.
And I think it's important to note that this isn't like ISOing the way like James Harden Rockets ISOs or Giannis ISOs. It's not like ball stoppy ISOs. This is like pass, go. You know what I mean? Like, get the defense moving and go. And like, you're not sort of like between the legs, like LaMelo balling it out there. It's orchestrated ISOs, it's orchestrated chaos, it's flow and movement and pace. And it's really fun to watch. And
also he is routinely matched up with a defender than he is better than, right? Mm-hmm. Especially in the case where he comes off the bench. And it's like, this guy is like, he's not drawing Lou Dort. That's not who you're assigning.
Especially when Hero gets back.
Right. That's not who you're assigning to Jaime Jaquez generally in these situations. And so he can torch guys that come off the bench, and he can certainly torch guys where if he's going to face your second or third best perimeter defender, a lot of these teams
Who's closing out?
A lot of these teams are not bringing, stalwarts. There's only one Thunder where it's like they got 7 perimeter defenders that can stay in front of anyone.
Yes. Yeah, ask Ja Morant. We'll talk about that later. But the thing about their sort of style, and a lot has been made of their pace and what they're doing, and that whole thing is it has an effect on the other team too.
Right.
The Cavs took 65 threes. Merrill was 4 for 16, and Mitchell was 3 for 16, and he was 2 for 15 before the miracle shot that we thought was going to take it to overtime. Like it has an effect on fatiguing the other team and forcing them to play faster, forcing them to speed up, and getting them out of their game because of the way they play. And that's what they did to the Cavs last night.
Well, and also the Cavs they've been good, but they really took the league by storm last year. And with taking the league by storm, they lost some of their depth. That's one thing. But the other thing is you've got a full year of teams with the ability to game plan for the Cavs, right? It's very hard to be consistently unbelievable year over year is a very, very, very difficult thing to do. And Mitchell's averaging, 30 points a game or something like that already to start the season? Like, he has been fantastic, but it's just hard where you only get to take the league by storm once.
And it's worth noting, like, early season, it's like, well, when Garland gets back, they're missing Garland. Right. They're missing Garland. And Garland was available in this one, started the game, and then something happened. I guess he re-aggravated the toe. I haven't seen any updates or anything, but like, he left the game. That's concerning because you never want the guy who just came back from injury to sort of like play a couple games and then get injured. The same thing happened with Jalen Green in Phoenix.
Spurs Bulls was down to the wire, and this was everybody reacting to Wemby. Wemby, of course, gets the isolation on Vucci Main, top of the key, crossover 3. Because why not? Because he's 7'5".
Yeah.
Why not? And then poor Vucci. I mean, I got it. People are like, why is it, Wemby versus Vucci 1-on-1 in that situation? I'm like, you got, like, anybody got a ladder? Like, who do you want to put on?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the best option is at this point, but
for me, I think that play is sort of like, we all sort of follow the game on social media, and that's going to be the play that everybody sees. And he also like waved away a pick, which is one of my favorite Jay-Z lines. But it was previously to that, he had a block. And then previously to the block, he had another bucket. So it's like Wemby bucket, Wemby block, Wemby between dagger over Vucci. Like, that is the Wemby experience down the stretch.
Josh Giddey obviously was unavailable for the Chicago Bulls.
Because DeAndre literally broke his ankles.
Okay. There's nothing worse than being out with an ankle injury. And then
this has never happened before.
And then the answer being, what happened? And then you can go find the video and you're like, oh my God.
He's got to play. He's got to play. Tape. Use all the tape, trainer. I have to play. I cannot miss a game because DeAndre Hunter broke my ankle.
The other thing is, it looks so unathletic the way he fell. He has been like all-star caliber great all season long. And then that happens. And the way he fell, like, looked like the way a normal human being would fall, not like a professional athlete would fall. And it wasn't like the most devastating crossover in the world. Like, it wasn't like Iverson that makes you stumble or whatever. And I agree with you. Like, you got to just tape it up and get out there because
even if you just go out there for 5 minutes.
So I was thinking about this. Would you rather have somebody like straddle you and dunk on you and like stand over you, or that happen? Would you rather have your ankles broken or get dunked on?
Well, there's various levels of ankles broken. And
like that.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is this one, there was no push and there was no step on the foot or anything like that. Because I think a lot of people get all up in arms. It's like, well, he stepped on his foot. Like, I want to see you move your feet when someone's standing on it. But I honestly have watched this a million times with these exact sort of thoughts. I think Giddey hurt his ankle mid-play, and that's why he fell so awkwardly. Like, I think he fell because of injury, not necessarily because of the move that Hunter put on. And I hate to be Mr. Negative once again. It wasn't a 360 layup, but like, I just can't. It was so weird. He was mid defensive slide and then just went down like someone put explosives in the bottom of a tower.
Then do it. You've got to go on like House of Highlights and explain to everybody. His ankle was injured.
This one's too complicated.
His ankle was injured beforehand.
Mid-play.
Yes,
no.
mid-play.
I would rather
the
get
crossover didn't do it.
I would say this. I would definitely rather get dunked on and straddled and pointed at and peed on than that. And I'll tell you why. Because there are so many poster dunks in the history of the NBA that they become forgettable over time. But there are only so many true body to the ground, I cross you over, and now you're on the ground, and now you're limping off to the sideline, and now you're not playing the next game. That has never happened before. So I'd rather be one of the many people that got dunked on contesting a dunk than one of the people that have literally got their ankles broken in an NBA game.
So back in the day, there was a video that I used to watch. It was called Ankle Breakers, right? The NBA would like put this out, like NBA films, the same way that they would do on on ESPN, like Jacked Up for the the big hits or whatever. Slams and jams. There was a video called Ankle Breakers, and it was like Tim Hardaway, and it was Allen Iverson, and it was all these different guys, whatever, right? But no one actually hurt their ankle.
Ever.
You know what I mean? Like it's a colloquialism. Like it's like oh he broke his ankles. Like, but they don't actually hurt their ankles. You know what I mean? They just fall or they stumble or whatever. Like, to actually hurt your ankle, it's just
it's also the context of him being a triple-double machine, having the career of his life, and sort of like this, Giddey 2.0. I am now an offensive engine of one of the most surprising teams in the whole entire league. Like, you put all that into context too. And now he's limping to the sideline and missing a key game.
Yeah, that's the deal. I don't know if there's anybody that's actually hurt their ankle. It's the equivalent of almost like if they did like the big hits or Jacked Up, whatever, and then they showed a guy that's like in a coma on the field. Like, you wouldn't be like, oh man, we can't even show that. It's like so bad, right? Like, he actually hurt himself.
Broke his ankle. Yes.
No way.
It was wild. Before we move on, I want to shout out someone who's getting no love that every time I watch a Bulls game, I'm like, oh yeah. And he's contributing. Is Jalen Smith. Like Phoenix Suns, Jalen Smith, Pacers, Jalen Smith, like never really found a home. And he's got the goggles on. And every time I watch a Bulls game, I'm like, oh, there he is.
Yeah.
And he's good. He's solid. Last night he had 11 and 12. Like, he's not blowing it up. You know what I mean? He's not like making the leap, Jalen Smith, but he was sort of a forgotten player that the Suns didn't want and the Pacers didn't want. And he's found a home in Chicago. And I love to see it.
I do wonder how many guys actually I know this is going to sound funny when I say it. There's no way he's the only player that requires goggles. I think he's the only player willing to wear the goggles, right? And I say this because my own son wears glasses. And we did the sport specs, and then we did and he won't wear them. He won't wear them. He doesn't like them. He doesn't like them. Like, would they help him? For sure. But now he'll either wear he would wear contacts or he'll wear his regular glasses. But he did not like the goggles at all. And this was as a child. And which kids don't care. You know what I mean? He just didn't like the way they were. And when I see Jalen Smith, I'm like, you know what, bro? somebody else probably does need goggles, and there's probably other guys. Because
they're too cool to wear them, yeah.
Well, like there was a year when I was covering Rudy Gay, and we came back from a year, he had shot like whatever, low 40s from the field or whatever. And then we get into media day, whatever. And he's like, I went to the eye doctor finally, and this was the problem, and I got LASIK. And we're like, oh, it's on now. He couldn't see. That's why he didn't make shots. That's why he took 21-foot. He didn't even know where he was on the court. That's why he was taking 21-foot contested twos, right? Sure enough, it didn't have an impact.
Yeah, same thing happened to Jameis Winston. I think this was Jameis Winston's storyline once upon a time, too.
Yeah, right. We really thought the LASIK was going to now he's going to be Carmelo. No, it didn't have. It wasn't the eyes, turns out. But I do wonder if how many guys actually would require them or would be better off wearing them. And I respect Jalen Smith for being like the only guy that wears goggles.
For doing it.
Yep.
This I think it's great to see De'Aaron Fox back out there. It helps Wemby a lot. You know what I mean?
No question.
And long in the rearview mirror as the Suns game and the Lakers game, where the NBA had figured out Victor Wembanyama, and all you have to do is send a small to push him out in the perimeter and help with the big. It's like, oh well, guess what? Good luck with that.
Yeah, and especially in the absence of Dylan Harper, right? Because you did have that. That was the other thing. You had that span that kind of intersected. No Dylan Harper. And now teams are defending Wemby differently.
And no Fox and no Harper.
Right. And he looks around and it's like, okay, because, look, you can dedicate as many guys as you want to if Wembanyama, if you're not scared of anybody else.
Yeah.
And now you have somebody else to be scared of.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And sure enough,
Fox will get better and better. He'll get better and better. The Mismatch is brought to you by FanDuel. Get in on NBA action at any time with live betting on FanDuel. From the first whistle until the final buzzer, FanDuel is your home for live betting. One of my favorite things to do is find a team that I think is going to win the game, and they're down in the third quarter. And I say to myself, you know what? I don't think the Mavs are going to beat the Bucks. I don't think the Wizards are going to beat the Pistons. And then I will bet for that favorite that is losing, and I will get favorable odds. That's how I use live betting. And I have my eye on a couple upcoming games in the National Basketball Association. Listen, if you listen to this podcast, I know you love the NBA. And at 9:30 p.m. on Wednesday, November 12th, 2025, we get Luka and the Lakers against SGA and the Thunder. It is in OKC. And I am sure the Thunder are going to be heavy favorites. They're at home. At that point, they've probably still only got one loss. And I'm going to take the Lakers plus the points. I don't know what the spread is now, but I expect that one to be close. That is going to be a national game. That is going to be the game the world is watching. And that is what I will be playing on my FanDuel app, because FanDuel is giving customers $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. So just visit FanDuel.com/mismatch to sign up today. Play your game with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. Remember, you must be 21 and present in select states, or 18 plus and present in DC, Kentucky, or Wyoming. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bet, which expires 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut.
Would not have expected that we would get a Bucks Mavericks thriller. But sure enough, we did. The Mavericks blow a late 13-point lead. Giannis goes off in the fourth quarter. It's the best game of Cooper Flagg's young career, as he has 26, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 blocks, and a steal, including a would-be game winner at the end of the game before Ryan Rollins made a play on the other end. That would have been like the highlight everywhere, is him going to the basket. He should have gotten an and one against Giannis, by the way. But
so that sequence was like, this is the Cooper Flagg rookie experience. Is he gets the rebound. Like, that's the part people don't forget, is he got the rebound, dribbled it up himself, gets past his man. Giannis comes over to help. He jumps in the air, goes chest to chest with Giannis, shoulder to chest, bounces off of him, creates a little space, finishes over Giannis. And Giannis is not doing like the Roy Hibbert verticality thing. Giannis is fouling him. And he finishes and then runs back on defense. And then here's what happens on defense is he goes to double Giannis. Giannis passes to Rollins. And then Cooper doubles Rollins, realizes he shouldn't be doubling Rollins, turns his back on Rollins.
And runs to the opposite corner.
It runs. Yeah, it's like, so if you're defending Rollins and then Cooper comes over to double, you're taking half of Rollins, and then Cooper just vacates the area and turns his back on the whole play. And then Rollins is like, oh, I'll just drive to the basket and score uncontested. It was just such a blown assignment after such a big play from Cooper Flagg, which is sort of like, listen, this is what you're going to get with rookies.
Well, and as you're watching the game, the Fire Nico chants are just out of control. I mean, it even happened at the end of the game when PJ Washington gets fouled on a 3 by Giannis, and he's got a chance to go to the line and tie the game. You can hear the Fire Nico chants.
Well, he hits the first, so now there's still a chance.
Yes.
And then he misses the second.
And then they start.
They start the Fire. The game's not over.
No. They're about to
tense moment.
They're about to miss on purpose, and Cooper Flagg's going to try to jump over everyone and try to get the putback, which he damn near did.
Almost.
It would be unbelievable. But Patrick Dumont is sitting there on the front row, and I read Tim McMahon's article this morning, and because he had reported yesterday, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when they roll Nico Harrison. Because the only way that this was going to be okay is if Anthony Davis is a all-NBA performer and things and the Mavericks are good, right? They're good.
D'Angelo
and they're
Russell
entertaining.
works out. D'Angelo Russell's the point guard that you thought he was going to be, and Cooper Flagg is having a great rookie season, and Lively and Gafford and Anthony Davis you just can't score on them.
Right. And instead, this has been absolutely a catastrophic start. And in the article this morning, I want to read you a passage. Okay.
First of all, God bless you. With all the prep we have to do for this, because all the games last night, you had time to read McMahon's article. God bless you.
Dumont spent several minutes early in the second half engaging in a candid conversation with an 18-year-old fan who was wearing a gold Luka jersey and apologized for flipping off Dumont during the October 22nd opener. I was like,
He's
way.
18 years old?
No way. There's
the
a picture
18-year-old
of them.
apologized? 18-year-olds don't apologize. That's not no. If you're in the teens, you do not apologize. That's policy.
Look, anybody can go find this on the internet. There is a picture of Patrick Dumont, the owner of the Mavs, sitting next to a kid that is wearing a gold 77 Luka Lakers jersey. And McMahon, great reporting by him, report that the kid, like they're having a candid conversation, they're talking to each other, and the kid apologized to Dumont for flipping him off.
I just did a literal spit take.
Unbelievable.
Mr. Dumont.
I'm sorry I flipped you off in the opener.
I flipped you off about a month ago, and I just want to say
I'm sorry.
That was I was outside of my character, Mr. Dumont. I apologize.
Amazing.
But will you please fire Nico now?
Amazing. Mark Steiner's reporting that Nico Harrison might get fired today.
Why wouldn't he?
Why wouldn't he?
Why wouldn't he?
Okay, now I will say, I have to go back. The only reason is if I have to go back on my master plan is to go get LeBron and team him up with his buddies Kyrie and Anthony Davis.
No chance,
right?
Bro. No chance.
Oh, by the way, when I was scrolling through, look, you said you're impressed that I had time to read. I had time to go through everything this morning. I was up early. I found a guy on Instagram who did a whole video that was saying it's not Luka's fault it's Dallas's fault that Luka was fat, and had a picture of Anthony Davis last night. And he was saying, look at Anthony Davis when he was in L.A. and look at Luka when he's in L.A. It's not Luka. That's not the reason. Yeah, he got down there, and that's the reason that he wasn't in great shape. And because look at Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis has never been portly. And now look at these pictures of Anthony Davis. And
I'm trying to think.
I'll be damned. I mean, they do have good food there.
They do have, steaks. Steaks is sort of like the regional dish there. Post Malone went through a little heavy phase himself. Yeah, I can say it tracks. Food. It tracks. Yeah.
Who knows?
Anthony Davis, Luka Doncic, Post Malone. That's the trident of superstar weight fluctuation in Dallas.
I mean, Nico Harrison. I mean, again, this starts off catch up. I saw them Friday night in person. And I felt like legit terrible for Mavs fans at the game I was at. I mean, the Grizzlies were up by 30 in the third quarter, and the Grizzlies have had their own massive sets of problems. But they were up 30 on that team, and I was like, I mean, I don't want to. I don't even want to bring it up because I'm very empathetic to fans. But the idea that you are watching an all-time great every night and you have all this gear and all these jerseys and all these bobbleheads and all these cards and everything, and you're in the NBA Finals, and then we're not that far. We're like a year and a couple months removed.
It feels like only a matter of time until Luka wins an MVP and the Mavs win a championship. It's just, I don't know if it's going to happen in 26, 27, 28, 29, but it's only a matter of time.
And now you remember I came on this podcast, and when we first started together, and after he had done his press conference, like after the trade and after he finally talked, and I came to you and I said, bro, he thinks it's about him.
Mm-hmm.
He thinks it's about him.
That's our fault. And let me tell you why it's our fault as the media. Because he's been hearing for the past year about how brilliant he is. Because they went to the finals. And why did they go to the finals? Because he brought in P.J. Washington and Derek Jones and made all these great moves. He put the perfect pieces around Luka. Nico is playing 4K chess, and he knows exactly what Nico needs. And he orchestrated this finals run, not Luka Doncic. So that's how he felt, because that's what we said.
I remember vividly screaming into a microphone at that point, this idea that you can't win at the highest level with him. And I remember screaming into the microphone, you can't get to the highest level without him.
No.
Don't you understand that you're there because you have him? What's wrong with you?
It's,
you're not there. He's the only reason that you're playing in the NBA Finals, you dumbass.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that's very clear, and this is not groundbreaking analysis, is there's two batches of teams in the NBA. Batches, the teams that have a guy and the teams that don't have a guy. You watched the games last night. It's like, well, ball's going to Giannis. Ball's going to Wemby. Ball's going to James Harden even. And then you look at the teams like the Hawks who won, but they're sort of like, no Trae Young. They're piecing it together like the Blazers. Like, I guess it's Denny Avdija. It's like they're trying to find a guy, And one thing I do want to say about this game, which is, we're going to talk about the Luka trade and firing Nico. Nico's probably going to be fired by the time you hear this podcast. And
who could have predicted that?
The only reason that he wouldn't be fired by the time you hear this podcast is because Dumont was like, let's get him for cause. Is trading Luka legal cause? He's calling a lawyer being like, is doing something this dumb legal cause? Can I not pay him the rest of his contract because this is some sort of negligence?
He's got to wear it too because he was convinced to do it. I mean, that's something like that does not happen without owner approval. And
of course,
the idea that's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
But I want to give a shout to Kuzma. Kuzma played pretty well last night.
Not bad.
He played pretty. He hasn't flourished in Milwaukee thus far. But there's one play on the left wing when he has the ball and Giannis is in the post. Giannis has his right hand up, like, give me the ball, and Kuzma waved him out. Waved him out of the post. Giannis trots to the other side, leaving Kuzma alone with Cooper Flagg in front of him, and he's like, I'm gonna cook this rookie. Step back three, barely hit rim. It was like, Kuzma.
Well,
Kuz.
the player on their team, I don't think Rollins is a flash in the pan. I think he's like going to be a real one. I think Ryan Rollins is going to be a real player in this league.
He's sort of exactly what they needed.
Yep.
He's exactly what they needed. And here's one thing I want to look at, and I might be reading way too much into this. I'm known to do it. And I've seen it like 3 or 4 times this year where Giannis makes a huge play and he sort of celebrates by himself.
Well, they don't know each other yet.
It's like a chest thumping thing, walking away on my own, finding a camera. It's not like let's all get together and, you know what I mean? Like high fives and chest bumps with teammates. And I might be reading way too much into it. When you watch Bucks games and Giannis makes a play, it's almost like he tries to find a camera to celebrate to, then find a teammate to celebrate with.
Yeah. By the time everybody gets this podcast today, probably the Nico. You got to imagine nobody covers the Mavs better than Stein and McMahon. They've both been covering that team,
and they both
forever.
had the same report yesterday.
And I mean, if that's out there already, that means that people with power are telling them, hey, man, this is about to happen.
If you are Nico and you're coming to the office today and you take out your key card at the front door, shake him up, shake him up, shake him up, shake him. He's just closing his eyes and holding the key card near the scanner. It's like, beep. He's like, all right, I'm in.
I mean, how? And the other thing that I've seen over the course of the past couple of days, look, we're already having the funeral for this guy's career, even though it hasn't happened yet. But when he had like a 1% chance of winning the lottery, and then he won the lottery, got Cooper Flagg, and he's like, people are now starting to see the vision.
Now you understand.
You're like, oh my God. Oh my God. You're unbelievable, bro. You're unbelievable. All right.
There's also, here's one thing I want to say about the Mavs situation before we move on, this is a take I haven't heard yet. How do you feel right now if you're Kyrie Irving?
I mean, you're probably
high. Like, yeah.
Probably great.
He's like, you know what? I'm getting fat now too. Luka's fat, 80's fat,
matter.
Post Malone's fat. I'm getting high and I'm getting fat. What do I do? Come back and turn this thing around? Hell no.
I'm not judging it, by the way. Don't take it the wrong way.
No.
I'm saying you're out with injury anyway. So, I mean, he's like streaming. He's like talking back and forth with 15-year-olds online. What up, chat? You know. What up,
Good
chat?
for him. Good for him. Something tells me the rush to come back might be in 3rd gear instead of 5th gear right now. If you're
maybe so. A couple others worth mentioning. Anthony Edwards, another big game, and the Timberwolves beat the Jazz. Grayson Allen, as you mentioned, had a franchise record. I
have one note on the Timberwolves.
All right, let me hear it.
Something that's going on in the NBA is starting to bother me.
Okay.
I think Julius Randle might be good.
Oh, come on.
I'm starting to get concerned about Julius Randle being good.
He was awesome last year.
He frustrated me so much when he was on the Knicks. Even when he was good on the Knicks, he was so frustrating. And then he stopped smoking weed, and now he's the player I always wanted him to be. He's getting assists. What did he have last night? 8 assists? 8 rebounds and 7 assists.
Also miscast as being the guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was the guy that was the guy. Like, you need somebody better than Julius Randle. I think that's what's fair. Some guys are not meant to be the franchise best player, the guy that you got to count on every single night, the guy that can handle all the extra attention, both on the court and off the court. And you're best suited to be the 2nd or 3rd best player on your team. And when you are, you can thrive. And I think that's the answer to what's happened with Randle.
And I've watched a lot of Randle, and to be positive about him is he's strong, very strong.
Yes.
And he's very comfortable making uncomfortable shots. Like, he's comfortable with a hand in his face. He's comfortable fading away a little bit. He's comfortable shooting with his right hand going to his left. Like, he makes weird, tough shots.
Here you go. Breaking news. Beep, 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 beep. Dallas Mavericks and owner Patrick Dumont are expected to fire general manager Nico Harrison at a 10 a.m. Central press conference. Shams Charania and Tim McMahon. There it is. So
this is going to be a great documentary or 30 for 30.
Unbelievable.
It's going to be great. It's a great
really,
story.
I mean,
Like, what happened? Like, what did Luka do? Did Luka take a shit on his desk one day or something? Like, what happened behind the scenes that forced him to trade Luka Doncic for Christie and AD?
Truly, what a catastrophe.
There must be, like, I always felt like Nico woke up in the morning and was like, I can't look at his face anymore. I cannot work with him. I cannot be in the same city as him. Like, he has disrespected me time and time again. I can't take it. He does not respect my authority. I'm going to show him who's boss. That's the only thing that makes sense. This is a personal, emotional decision because it makes no business sense. And let's also not forget how good he was at putting the team around Luka.
We got to give the crowd, who relentlessly the entire season chants fire Nico and says it online, a lot of credit. There's no question Mavs fans and their discontent with this played a part. But we need to find that 18-year-old.
Yeah.
Guys sit next to, I mean, they said that's the first game he's been to since the opener. Dumont. Last night.
So that means the decision's already made. That means that the decision has already been made.
Well, no, they're up 13, and he's probably like, maybe this is going to be okay.
The Stein and McMahon reports come out. Like, they can't say he will be fired.
Right.
But what they can say is what they said, which is it looks like, and maybe there's been rumblings. So somebody tells me that him showing up and firing Nico the next day is not a coincidence. Not a coincidence at all.
I mean, you're forever the guy that traded Luka Doncic. That's who you are. That really unbelievable. Just unbelievable. And now within 6 months, you're gone.
But you know what my favorite part is?
Or whatever, I guess 9 months.
My favorite part is, like, when he's at the bar with his best friend after 3 beers, he's like, this is all just because Kyrie and AD got hurt. I was putting together a championship team. Lord. I have a champion. Yep. Everyone's a hero in their own movie. In the movie directed by Nico about Nico, he is the hero. And there were all these things that were not his responsibility. It's not his fault that Kyrie Irving got injured. It's not his fault that AD got injured. It's Kyrie, Cooper, Washington, AD, Gafford and/or Lively. That is a championship defensive gigantic roster that would win in his head. Yep. He's like, that is, I put together a championship roster. They did not perform. They were not available. This is not my fault.
And
I was done wrong.
And he's an idiot.
Fair.
Yeah. Just real quick, because we got to get to our observations. The Suns beat the Pelicans by 1 million, and the Suns have got good vibes, and they've gotten They've gotten much, much better. They've been playing much, much better. The vibes after the game with Grayson Allen's post-game interview were really good, and he hit 10 franchise record, 10 3-pointers, and obviously the Pelicans are miserable. But the Suns have gotten on track to where they are certainly not nearly as bad as they were at the beginning of this season.
It just feels like without the noise. If you look at any NBA roster, the Jazz, the Wizards, any terrible team except for the Nets. I'm leaving the Nets out of this. And you look at their starting 5 and you say, if we get the best out of these guys, we can compete with anybody. And it just feels like the Suns are getting the best out of the guys that they have, including Allen. But, while you were reading McMahon, shout to Bam McMahon, I didn't watch the Suns-Pelicans game because everything else was going on. So I went to NBA.com. You click on the box score. I was like, I'm going to watch every 3 that Grayson Allen shot. He went 10 for 15, right? I was like, I'm going to watch them all and just see what this is like. He hit 7 threes and is still wide open. They're in a zone. And, like, he's just wide open. These are not contested threes. This isn't like James Harden hitting 10 threes where it's like step backs and fadeaways and, like, tough ones. He is just hitting butt-naked 3 after butt-naked 3. After he makes 6 threes, he's open for the 7th and then open for the 8th. Like, it was terrible, terrible defense. And I think that Nico getting fired is just, we know who's going to be next.
Who?
We know who's going to be next.
Willie.
It
might be a problem.
And like Nico, Willie had some flashes.
Well,
they're starting to figure this out. During his tenure, you're like, they're starting to figure this out in New Orleans. Look at them.
Let me just say this about Grayson Allen, too. Maybe they didn't get the memo. You know who Grayson Allen works with?
I don't.
Oh, I guarantee you love him the same way I love him. Grayson works with Lethal Shooter.
Oh, yeah.
From Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
Now he understands. And so now the Pelicans understand. He understands it. You know, he throws like a jelly bean into like a water bottle from midcourt or something.
Yeah.
Lethal Shooter.
He was yelling at me on Instagram yesterday. We're having a 3-on-3 tournament. All ages. We said all ages. I was like, oh, all right. Maybe there's like an over 45 section that I can get in.
Lethal Shooter. He had Grayson Allen shooting in a basket filled with spikes over the course of the offseason.
It doesn't matter who you work with when the other team doesn't cover you. Like, seriously. Like, these shots, I watched all 15 of these shots. They were open. Imagine hitting 8 threes and still being open from 3. Imagine hitting 7 threes and Willie Green being like, let's go to a 2-3 zone. Like, what?
Yep.
What?
Last one that we needed to mention, the Hawks got a good win at the Clippers. The Clippers have been dismal to start off this season. Much worse than I could have ever expected, as James Harden's transition logo 3 came up short.
So
to tie the game.
I stayed up for this game because I knew it was going to be good. I was like, there's just a vibe in the air that everything's coming down to the last minute. So I stayed up for this one. Said goodnight to the wife, went into the living room. I'm having some remote control issues, but that's my own thing. And I'm watching this game. I can't change the channel, so I'm watching this game. And James Harden, like, they were down against the Hawks, and they came back. James Harden gets the ball. They get a bucket, and I think it is Washington gets either a rebound or a block, kicks it out to Harden. Harden's dribbling up in transition, and the Dome, which has been quiet, is going crazy. Like, the energy in the building is so hype that I just feel like James Harden got caught up in like the collective energy because he pulled up in transition for a contested logo 3 with 12 seconds left on the clock. And the play-by-play guy is like, James Harden and just goes silent. And you could tell that, like, he just, I don't know what happened. Maybe he thought it was like 1.2 on the clock or something because there's no need to take that shot.
I just think he thought this is the best shot I'm going to get.
It was wild. And it was wild.
Thing is, how big of a disaster has the Beal thing been? I mean, it's just, you were wondering, why are they so bad? It's like, it's untenable to play them together. You just can't do it. This is a team that was built on defense, and it's like when your point of attack defense is James Harden and Brad Beal out there, you got no chance on your thing not collapsing.
Here's another thing I'm going to say out loud that you don't hear a lot. Remember all that celebrating of Zubac that we were doing last year?
Mm-hmm.
What?
No.
Like, where is the Harden Zubac pick and roll wizardry? Where is the defensive rim protector rebounder? Where is the guy from last year? Like, did he catch like the Kristaps flu? Like, I'm watching him last night. He just seems like he's like an older rec league guy, kind of like going through the motions. I don't know what happened to Zubac. I wouldn't be surprised if we hear that he's hurt or something because he just doesn't seem like the same guy from last year at all.
All of these teams have played 10 or 11 games thus far. Therefore, we are going to do 3 observations each on the first 10 or 11 games, but everybody's played 10 or 11 so far. All right. You want me to start or you want to?
I'm starting this time because everyone wants to hear this.
All right.
Everyone wants to hear this.
What do they want to hear?
You're the Memphis guy.
Okay.
And, we're into the pod already. Mm-hmm. There's been trade rumors. The Podfather's putting together 17 different Ja Morant trades. And then there's reports that what Memphis wants back in a Ja Morant trade.
Right.
And then you're watching Ja Morant against the Thunder, and he can't do anything. Mm-hmm. Anything. And he's now 36% from the field, 14.8% from 3. 5 games, he's gone 0 for something from 3. Mm-hmm. He's taken 27 field goals at the rim. He said the joy is gone. And when you watch the game, he is playing joyless basketball. And I at first thought when something goes wrong or something goes bad, why are we so quick to sort of say we have to trade him? But now I'm starting to think that a Ja Morant trade would be best for Ja Morant and best for Memphis. And as the Memphis guy, I would like to hear your response.
I would not. I think that I would tell you that though this is the culture of the NBA and there are going to be memes everywhere, there's going to be fake trades, and there's going to be whatever, one of the things that you have to consider in a situation like this is, and this is different than, say, like the Jimmy Butler thing, Ja Morant doesn't want to go anywhere. Ja Morant wants to be a Memphis Grizzly. He tells you that all the time. All right, there are some guys that go on Instagram, and again, I could have a whole rant about the way the world is now with everybody being passive-aggressive and people communicating online, but that is the way kids communicate now, and or even 20-somethings, right? So when you see the players, right, and now everybody pays attention to everything, when you see the players and they, like, want to be somewhere else, or they don't want to see it through, or they don't want, like, they want to be elsewhere, what do? They go and they change their stupid bio, and they unfollow all their teammates. And you know the deal, right?
Yeah.
He consistently posts Grizzly Bears and his Memphis tattoo and Go Grizz and what, like, so he very clearly does not want to be elsewhere, right? So the first thing needs to be the player will see it through. Now, to your point, would it be better off? I think this is what's going to happen. Okay, you asked for my opinion. Here's what I got. Like, it's the first 10 games this season. They're what are they? 4-7. 4-7. They're not 1-7, right? They're 4-7. And I think what they'll do is see it through to get their guys back. Zach Edey just traveled with them.
Oh, come on.
I mean, they'll get Zach
Edey and Ty Jerome are going to turn this team into like a juggernaut.
All right, we just talked about how Julius Randle is miscast to be the best player, right? Gets to the playoffs, and what did he shoot? 20%? Usually you get to the playoffs, and then they hone in on your best player, right? That's what happens. And then guys fail, and then
to be fair, you're talking about Randle on the Knicks, Randle on the Wolves,
Randle on the Knicks,
playoffs,
and then 2 years ago you said, where was Anthony Edwards in the Western Finals, right? Because what happens is they sell out on your best player, and now life becomes very difficult on them. I got it. Nobody watches the Grizzlies. I don't want you to. There's no reason to right now, right? Kentavious Caldwell-Pope shoots 35% from the field. From the field. Jalen Wells shoots 35% from the field.
Ja Morant shoots 36% from the field.
I got it. And their starting center is Jock Landau, okay? They have 3 guys starting that wouldn't be playing for anybody else. You get Edey back, you get Jerome back, you put Cedric Howard in the starting lineup, and all of a sudden, things start to lighten up. I would tell you that Ja Morant has not lost all of his talent. What's happened with Ja Morant is that him and Jaren Jackson Jr. play 1-on-3 every time they touch the ball because no one gives a shit about anybody else on the team. Jalen Wells is not ever scoring 25 on you. Neither is Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. Neither is Jock Landau. Why on earth would I defend these guys? So you can tell me that the guy just lost everything and he doesn't do this and he doesn't do that. But we know there is a track record here where, again, let's say he's way worse than he's been, right? Which he's a career.
He's way worse than he's been.
Understood. He's a career 47% field goal percentage guy, right? He is also a career 31% three-point shooter, which is not good enough, but that's what it is,
going
right?
Down. Yeah.
Okay? He's 31% and 15%, as you said. So do you think that is what he is now? Or do you think there's going to be a regression to the mean? And I would just tell you, you're always 24 hours away from things being okay. He high-fived the coach 5 times on Friday night and is hugging him, and this is during the Dallas game. And then everything goes to hell when they're playing against the Thunder, right? When they have played bad teams, they've beaten them. And when they've played good teams, they've gotten beaten, right? And that's what's happened thus far this season. But I think what you have to the first step of this is, what does the player want? And if he wants to see it through until you can get what was meant to be your rotation back, then, and it still is terrible, then you have decisions to make. But how about you let them they're missing 4 guys that were supposed to be in their top 8 guys.
Oh, yeah, Verno.
And they're getting one of them back this upcoming week.
Let me just put you on the therapist couch for a second, okay? Because it's pretty consistent with you and the Grizzlies. We were the 2 seed last year, and then this happened. We've been the 2 seed, 3 out of 4 years, and then this happened. Or we were in the playoffs, and this person got hurt. Or we're just waiting for E to come back and Ty Jerome to come back. It seems like success is always a little bit on the horizon or a little bit in behind you.
No.
But
You're
like
talking
right
about
now,
trading the franchise player.
They traded.
For
I think
what?
you do. You have to get
for draft picks, and you rebuild around Coward.
Yeah, one decent young player and draft picks. You did it with Desmond Bane,
Nico Harrison,
and then you do it, with Ja Morant.
Have they been a smart, good organization or not? Of course they have.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
There's all kinds of buffoons like Nico Harrison who's losing his job this morning, and you could say, oh, well, I have a sample size of 6 years where this guy was outstanding, but I have a sample size of 11 games where this guy has not been good anymore. Let's move him. And he's playing with the 2 worst starting wings in the entire NBA. So would you rather go by 6 or 7 years, or would you rather go by 11 games? That's all I'm saying. Let it play out. Let him play 30, 40 games. If it still is what it is, then you have to have a discussion about what is the best future, what is best for the future of the franchise. But making 11 games when you're 4-7, trading your franchise player, that is asinine. Asinine. Over 11 games? When you've won 60% of your games with this guy in the starting lineup over the course of 7 years? That's crazy.
Gets in the fight with the coach, right? Mails in the second half of a Lakers game. Has not performed up to his standards, not just because the defense is keyed on. The defense is key on Wemby. The defense is key on Luka. The defense is key on Giannis. The defense is key on superstars. That's what they do. And yes, he's missing some supporting cast. I understand that. But not to the point where I'm going to shoot 14% from 3 and 36% from the field and take 27 shots at the rim when that used to be my entire thing was finishing at the rim. Remember when he led the league in restricted area finishes? That was like 3 years ago. And now he doesn't do it anymore.
Terrible.
Thank you. And I think it's a bad
thing.
I think he will be better somewhere else, and I think Memphis will be better without him. And I'm not like a quick reaction, quick to trade him guy, but it just feels like you're staying together for the kids.
Okay, so he stinks with the Grizzlies, but he would be good elsewhere, right?
Probably.
Yeah,
probably.
Okay, right. That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
There's
either you think the guy is what he is now, or you think that he is wildly underperformed thus far. Well, of course he has. Of course he has.
I think those can both be right. So you're watching every second of every Grizzlies game. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I have. And you're saying it's because defense is key on him. That's why he can't score.
No, I didn't. He's been playing terribly. Go watch the 18 shots. He was 3 for 18 against the Thunder, right? You go watch those shots. A lot of those shots over the course of his career go in. They're not bad shots, and they're not shots that he doesn't make. Okay? So unless you think he is incapable now of making those shots, and I don't, then you say, this is a guy that's playing terribly to start the season.
Well, listen, one thing I do hate is the can we win a championship flow chart? If the answer is no, then completely blow it up and get draft picks and rookies. I think there is a mid ground there, but I think it's fair to say at full strength, this Memphis team is not a championship contender, right? It's fair to say that.
Yes.
At full strength, everyone's healthy, fine.
Sure.
You're not going to win a championship. That's fine. But there's nothing wrong with being a good basketball team at full strength, which when is that going to happen, Verno?
There have been intense growing pains with a new coach who's running like a FIBA-style system, and Jaren Jackson Jr. has not been himself. Nobody has been better because of it. Nobody. And the growing pains have been terrible.
You can understand. I don't live in Memphis. I don't watch every second of Grizzlies games. I'm not around talking to Grizzlies fans all the time. But you can understand from the outside looking in why this feels so funny and why this feels dysfunctional. You can understand that objectively.
Yeah, because the press conference, right? Because the press conference.
Yeah.
Yes, because he got mega frustrated at the beginning of the season and acted horribly, right, about it. But what you don't see is the next press conferences. Have you seen one since?
No, because
you think he's only been talking after one game? You think he only has talked that time and he hasn't talked since? So why do you think you haven't seen him? Why do you think? Because it doesn't feed into what everybody wants to talk about and mean. Because it doesn't feed it. Because if a guy is saying, hey, I'm going to see this through, things are going to be okay, I acted poorly and blah, blah, you know what I'm saying? I need to be a better leader. I need to be a better player. I need to do all of this, and it will happen. There's no headlines for that. Nobody cares about that, right? You think that's the only time he talked was 2 weeks ago? He talks every night. You watch him out on the court. He's been much more communicative with his coach and the players.
Well, be communicative with the ball in the basket. Do that.
I think we all agree. But
be communicative with the ball in the basket, because here's where he shoots from the field in his last, 5 games. 3 for 14, suspended. 5 for 16, 6 for 19, 7 for 20, 3 for 18.
So they should trade him because of 5 games. I mean, he had a double-double at halftime against the Mavs. Halftime. He had a double-double against the Mavs at halftime.
10 points, 10 turnovers?
No, 12 assists. 10 points, 12 assists. Or 12 points, 10 assists. Whatever.
I'm rooting for the Grizzlies to turn around. They play the Knicks tonight?
Yeah. It's not the place to turn around.
Yeah, the Knicks haven't lost at home. They've not lost at home.
And they got beat by 1,000 there last year.
And they got guys. We were there, but they got guys to throw at him too.
I mean, I would just tell anybody, watch their team. Find me 2 worse wings. I have no idea why Coward doesn't start. It's insane. It's insane. And this whole system of, hey, these are the growing pains. It's a process, but it's going to be better on the other end. Well, people now, I walk into the convenience store and there's 3 guys standing in front of me with lottery tickets and I'm frustrated. So I have no patience for anything. And so when the coach keeps telling me on this is going to work out in the end and this is all part of the process, okay, but you don't have an NBA track record to prove that you're right about this.
All right, full disclosure, I don't really feel like they should trade him now, but I just wanted to see what you would say. But I will say this. This is worth saying for real. If it continues this way around the deadline, he's going to be traded. If it just, even when guys come back, it's still like this and he's not performing, he's sad, body language is bad, a couple more bad press conferences, you could see a world in which this goes that way over time. And I think it is fair to say after 11 games without a full squad, let's not overreact. That's fair to say. But there is a roadmap where this happens.
I am telling you that so far, this is the worst he's ever been in his career by a wide margin. And I would say some of it is supporting cast and new system, and some of it is him just playing terribly.
Do you remember opening night? He had 35 on opening night against the Pelicans.
He had 2-game winners in the first 5 games of the season.
We'll see. Keep an eye on it.
He had
what's your first observation? Sorry, I made you sad.
Yeah, I knew you were going to do that.
I
knew you were going to do that. Okay,
the people want it.
We're going to have a massive amount of new All-Stars. Massive amount. Yeah.
I haven't really started thinking about that.
Okay.
Tell me about it.
The reason I'm saying this, because I went and pulled up last year's All-Star team. Think about this. Jaylen Brown was on it, and there's a question mark next to that, whether or not they'll be good enough for him to make an All-Star team, even though his stats are great, right?
I think he'll probably
That's fine. That's fine. Okay. James Harden, Kyrie Irving, LeBron James, Damian Lillard, Jason Tatum, Anthony Davis, Darius Garland, Tyler Hero, Jaren Jackson Jr., Jalen Williams. Those are all for sures. Who knows on Siakam and Cat? But all those guys I named, every one of those guys was an all-star last year that will not be
Wait,
this year.
go to the last three again. I thought I heard one that would be.
Harden, Kyrie, LeBron, Lillard, Tatum, Davis, Garland, Hero, Jaren, Jalen Williams, and then we've got question marks next to
I think there's a chance,
and Cat.
that Jaren Jackson turns around.
Shut up. I mean, it is going to be chock full of new ones. And then I went and looked, and I was like, you know what? What was that story we did a while back about the format?
About the stupid format. So there's going to be, 8 international guys guaranteed, right?
I've got this. Listen to what it looks like after 10 games.
Oh, wait.
Okay?
I see what you're doing. Oh, I love
Listen
this.
to this. SGA, Luka, Şengün, Jokic, Giannis, Wemby, Denny Avdia, Lauri Markkanen. If I had to make the 8 today,
there might be more than 8
for the world team. That would be the world team if I made it today.
Are there any other international players? Are they going to get shorted players because there are too many good international players?
I mean, you've got Siakam, you've got...
And Yegor Dioman. Yeah.
But no, good grief. Luka, SGA, Jokic, Giannis, Wemby. But I mean, you just have you literally have 12 new guys on the All-Star team. So I mean, and by the way, I didn't mention Giddey. I got to put Giddey in there.
So that's a 9th spot.
So Avdia or Markkanen goes out.
That is the problem with structuring it this way. Is you might have sort of like an unfair balance.
So you have Avdia, Giddey, Markkanen, and then look, Devin Booker, Austin Reeves, Tyrese Maxey. These are guys in the first 10 games. But I mean, we're going to have a whole slew of new All-Stars
it looks
this
like
year.
Maxey's making it, dude.
No. I'm saying we're going to have a massive amount of new All-Stars this year. This All-Star game, in 1 year's time, there's going to be literally 12 new guys on the All-Star team that weren't last year.
I have not considered this
I know.
yet, but it makes a lot of sense.
They're all out. All those guys are out.
And there's going to be, but I think the replacements are going to be generally first-time All-Stars.
Some. Most. Crazy year.
Well, we got to make room for Grayson Allen, obviously.
Right.
You play the Pelicans every night.
You never
Do
know.
yourself the favor. Just click on the 15 threes that Grayson Allen shot last night. They're all open.
Unbelievable.
That is an astute observation, Mr. Vernon. And you know I don't like complimenting you. I haven't considered this. Because you think you're like Lillard and Tatum and Halliburton. There's gonna be some spots for some guys to make it there.
Listen to these names: Harden, Kyrie, LeBron, Lillard, Tatum, Davis, Garland, Hero, Jackson Jr., Jalen Williams. All of those.
I wouldn't count Harden out yet.
Oh, come on. All-Star?
I wouldn't count him out yet. It's a long way until the All-Star. It's a long
way. You know what? They've started out super slow. They should trade everybody.
It's a good point.
No.
Who are they going to trade? Who's interested in Bradley Beal? Trade Chris Paul?
Aspiration. As a sponsor. All right, go. Next one.
If we trade Kawhi, which parts of his contract do we have to take on? I don't know. I haven't read the new CBA. Is it the circumventing contracts? We have to take those on too? How's it work? I'm not familiar. All right, next one. This is just easy. I always say that your actions speak louder than your words. Okay. And I'm watching the games, and when I'm on League Pass and I see the list of games, I'm watching. If a Rockets game is on, I'm watching it. The Rockets are the best show in town. For me personally, you can't disagree with me. The Rockets are the best watch in the NBA for me personally. You got Şengün out there. You know that cartoon of the elephants with tutus on dancing like ballerinas? That's what Şengün reminds me of. He is just so awkward but graceful, strong but swift. He's just spinning around, making post plays, making passes. He's dribbling behind his back. First of all, that Giannis play, I want to talk about that for a second. Just give me the soapbox for 15 seconds. That is not Şengün cooking Giannis. That is Giannis for the second possession, because I watched that game. It was awesome. just blatantly trying to go for steals when he doesn't have to. Like there was a one possession game at that point, and it's over 24 seconds on the clock. So if they get a stop, they can get the tie. And Giannis is out there swiping for steals at half court. Like, what are you doing? Swiping for steals. Watch it again. That was not Sengun cooking Giannis. That was Giannis being way too aggressive on defense.
Nice zag. Sengun cooked him.
No, he did not cook him. That was just Giannis being
I saw
an idiot.
it on House of Highlights.
Yeah. I'll put a comment on that one.
Alperen Sengun is a problem.
Post moves, lob passes. Like, if you would have told me that Sengun's going to throw like 3 lobs a game, I'd be like, what? And then Amen Thompson does 2 things a night where you're just like, what was that? What was that? Tari Eason is shooting 51% from 3. And you know what? I don't know if you saw it in that Bucks game. Reed Shepherd played defense.
Oh, yeah.
Reed Shepherd played defense.
Moving his feet.
In the Spurs game, Reed Shepherd did not play defense. In that Bucks game, he was getting steals like Ime Udoka has a look on his face at all times like a UFC fighter making a cage walk. Like his intense. Have you ever seen Ime Udoka smile? Ever. Like Ime Udoka and Joe Mazzulla should be like a celebrity boxing match, like that old MTV show. Like,
oh, I bet their coaches' meetings were a blast. Just who can be more aggressive?
Yeah. I'm surprised they haven't fought before in Boston.
They probably did.
But I just and I haven't even mentioned Kevin Durant, who's just being Kevin Durant. Right. But like, I absolutely love the Rockets games, and I'm not predicting them to win a championship, but I'm saying if the list of all NBA teams are playing, I'm clicking on the Rockets game first.
Next observation from the first 10 or 11 games. The first 10 or 11 games of the season matter a lot, or maybe they don't. And you've got to decide, because I went and did a snapshot of last year. Okay?
Oh, I love this.
Yeah. So I
want to congratulate you. You read McMahon's thing. You did a little research for this one.
So about the same time last year, okay? It was actually I think November 12th was the snapshot, but everybody at that point had played at least 10. Some of the teams had played 12. The Cavs were 12-0. The Celtics were 9-3. And nobody else was above 500 in the Eastern Conference.
Seriously?
Yes.
After how many
to start
games?
10 games. The Knicks were 5-5. The Brooklyn Nets were 5-6 to start the season. Yes.
Last year?
Yes. The Pacers were 5-5. The Pistons were 5-7. The Bucks were 3-8 to start last season. The Magic were 6-6. The Heat were 4-6. The Hawks were 5-7. And so, outside of the Celtics and the Cavs were far and away better than everybody. And then everybody else was about 500. And then we know the way the rest of it played out. In the Western Conference, the Thunder started out 9-2. The Warriors started out 9-2. The Suns started 9-2. It was confirmation bias from us too, right? Oh, Brad Beal, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker. They started out 9-2. 9-2 to start the year.
Nurkic.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the Rockets started out 7-4. The Grizzlies started out 7-4. The Lakers started out 6-4. The Clippers started out 6-5. The T-Wolves 6-5. And so the only teams that got out to super fast starts, so I guess you could say the indicator was, obviously it was not an indicator of the Indiana Pacers, who started out 5-5. But the Thunder,
no, but it does feel like
they started out 9-2.
There's a lot of teams that are sort of 5-5, 6-5,
yeah,
6-6. A lot of teams around 500. It feels like.
But I'm telling you, one of the teams that started out super hot last year, two of the teams that started out in the first, if we just took a snapshot last year when we're doing this, were the Warriors and the Suns, right? Those are two of the teams last year that started out like absolute gangbusters to start the season. And so the point is, it's either means something or, like in the Thunder case, it meant something. In the Cavs case, it meant something. But I'm just saying, when you take a snapshot of the first 10 or 11 games, you've got to determine, because if we went to last year, we're doing this podcast talking about the 9-2 Warriors and the 9-2 Phoenix Suns.
Western Conference Finals matchup? Western Conference Finals preview?
Right? Those were the teams that were on par with the Thunder at this point last year.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay. The natural question.
Don't overreact to 10 games is the point.
The natural follow-up question is, what teams with a hot start this year are you looking at perhaps
I don't think
tumbling?
Any of them are the Suns, but the obvious choice is Detroit.
Oh, no. No.
Yes, it is.
Oh, no. Bulls.
No, Detroit's 9-2. Chicago's 6-4. That's not extreme. That's not extreme.
Of all the teams,
it's Detroit.
I've got another one for you.
And maybe Miami. Started off really hot.
Can I interest you in the Los Angeles Lakers?
Oh, you think that LeBron ruins it?
Doncic injury. LeBron comes back, but kind of like Garland and Green, re-aggravates the sciatica. Ayton, the honeymoon's over with Ayton. You could say the Lakers had a nightmare season, but after 12 games, they were 8-4. I mean, okay. I could see that happening, couldn't you?
Do you think it is more likely that we would take a snapshot of the first 10 games and go, oh, that didn't last? That was more like, maybe not like Phoenix, but more like the Warriors, right? Which is fall back to the pack.
Yeah,
right?
Play in, make the playoffs.
All right, here you go. Place your bet. Is that more likely with L.A. or more likely with San Antonio?
Miami Heat.
No.
I'm sorry. That wasn't the question.
Is it more likely with L.A.?
More likely with L.A.
Oh, I don't agree.
More likely with L.A. More likely with L.A.
No way. You think it's more likely with L.A. than San Antonio?
First of all, I like what I've seen from both of those teams. So I'm not going to sit here and be like,
how can you not? They're
yeah. So like, you're pacing me into a corner to like say something negative about two teams, which I'm actually really enjoying watching the way they play basketball. But it all because I would say that if you lose Luka or Wemby, that's an easy way to say, like, you're obviously going to go way down. But I just see San Antonio being so good, right? And faltering a little bit without Fox and without Harper, and getting those guys back. Like, I don't know.
Lakers
man.
just have more reinforcements, though. When you've got Austin Reeves averaging 30 points a game, like you're able to withstand more.
I feel like Wemby's availability was a bit fluky last year. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I feel like Luka's constantly hurt but rarely injured, but is always dealing with something.
Yep.
Like Luka is always dealing with something, and LeBron James is 57 years old. Like, again, I like both of these teams. I like the way they're playing, but if I had to pick between them, I would pick the Spurs.
Right.
But if I had to pick any team out of this snapshot to fall, it would be the Miami Heat. And I love the Heat, and I picked them to be successful this year.
Well, and I hate to say it about the Pistons, but I mean, it's unsustainable.
I mean, I don't think they'll be first, but
I mean, they've started out.
Man.
This has been a dream start.
Well, I might have put them at third in the East. I
might have. All right.
I might have put them at third in the East preseason.
Last one.
Make this quick. I don't like to talk about sports media too much, but I'm a sports media observer for a quarter century plus. Worked behind the scenes in front of the cameras. The Amazon Studio show might be onto something. They're just a little baby newborn right now. Just a little baby newborn. They still got that pink and blue striped swaddle blanket on. The same one that every baby ends up in the hospital. But I don't know. Dirk and Nash come in with like obvious chemistry. Haslam is like, he's known as the sort of like locker room glue guy, veteran OG. When he speaks, people listen. Taylor Rooks gets along with everybody. And Blake Griffin is legitimately funny. Like he's legit funny,
yes.
and he's not a fun. I'm more of a try hard funny. Like I try to be funny. Like Blake Griffin is innately funny and dry funny, and they all were in the league recently enough to have played against guys. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like when Blake told the story about how Evan Mobley sort of like took him out, it was his like, maybe you should retire moment. It's on the back of like an Evan Mobley performance. Right. And they are very, 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 very early in their development.
He also in that Friday night game against the Lakers, he torched Morant. Rightfully so.
In that one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Griffin, the video that was going around, and like not in like a over the top, but like this ain't it kind of thing. Like, what is this? Right? This is a talented player. Like, what is going? Like, and he called it out on their national broadcast and like put the little arrows around him. Like, look at this.
I like it.
Look at this effort. Look at this. This is what's going on wrong. And I was like, you know what, man? Like, this is exactly what you want from a studio show where it's not like over the top criticism. It's like, look here, I'm going to show you this tape and show you why I'm saying this ain't it.
Well, it's also like some viral moments are like Shaq trips. You know what I mean? Which is like, it's cool, but I like viral moments that are analysis, whether it's celebration or criticism of what just happened on the basketball court. Sorry, call me crazy. You know what I mean? But like, I think, and again, like I'm not going to anoint them as the next thing or whatever. I'm just saying from what I've seen, I really like what they have going on. And as a production guy, I do like the LED court. Like, it's kind of cool. Let's be honest. I do like the 2-floor studio. I do like the little lounge thing that they go to. Like, I don't know. I like their presentation. And no shots at the NBC crew. I think they're great too.
I do wonder if they're a bit nervous today about the Dirk thing. There is going to be a sentiment amongst Mavs fans that say only one man can save us. The guy with the statue outside.
Oh, no. Oh, I thought you meant they'd be nervous today because the Mismatch episode was so good that we're going to take over the NBA discourse. That's what I thought you were going to say.
No, losing Dirk.
They're not going to hire Dirk as the GM. What are you talking about? That's work. Dirk works like 2 nights a week with his friends making jokes and watching basketball. Do you think he wants that job at probably less money? Come on.
Look, all I'm telling you, I'm not telling you that they are going to hire him. What I am saying is if I am the owner of the Mavs and I think his basketball acumen is great and I need to get the fans back on my side because this has been a bona fide catastrophe.
Deshaun Stevenson.
It is certainly something I would consider. You can't explain. You can't understand the fan, like the distrust your fan base has right now is so extreme. It's so extreme.
Here's what's more realistic is you say, Dirk, I just need you to stand behind him at whoever I hire at the press conference.
I don't know.
Do you know what I just thought about? You can say what you want about Dave Portnoy. Like I think he's funny or whatever, and he's obviously built a very successful business. I like that he has these bottles of champagne with his enemies' names on them, and he pops them afterwards.
Yeah, right.
It's a great bit. It's a great bit.
Yeah.
And I feel like right now Mark Cuban is somewhere being like, "Oh, look at this.
No,
you wouldn't let me hang out when we were getting the Western Conference trophy, but look at this. Maybe it's not so bad when I'm at the helm." Maybe it's not so bad. Maybe I'm not the worst. He's celebrating a little bit. Whether he wants to admit it, he wants success for the Mavericks, obviously, but there's a little part of him that's celebrating today. A little bit.
Last one for me, another observation. The East might be much more wide open than we would have thought. I think we kind of established at the beginning of the year, we're like, all right, here's 4 that we're sure of, right? Like, here's these teams that we're sure of.
Oh, I'll make this point even better. I thought it was at the beginning of the season, going into the season, it was, the Eastern Conference Finals and the 1-2 are going to be the Cavs and the Knicks. Then there's a huge gap for everybody else, but it doesn't feel that way anymore. But continue.
Yeah, well, because look, the Hornets are 3-7 and they've only beaten 3 bad teams. So they may be in this mix. You got Brooklyn, Indiana, who's lost like their whole team. Toppin, Mathurin, Nembhard, McConnell. It's just been the absolute season from hell, injury-wise for them, right? But Brooklyn, Indiana, and Washington, right? Those are one-win teams right now. You look above that, and if you want to throw Charlotte in there, but Charlotte can compete.
Let's throw Charlotte in there.
Okay, that's fine. Then that's 11 for 10, and I just think we thought there was going to be a much bigger separation amongst those 11 and who would be the play-in teams, much more so than it feels after 10 games. That's all I'll say, right?
Okay.
Because some of the teams that we did not expect, whether it was the Heat, whether it was the Sixers, whether it, down the line,
Bucks.
the Bulls.
Put the Bucks in there too.
The Bulls, the Bucks. Like I'm saying, all these question mark teams, it's like, all right, like there's not a big separation between whoever you think is the best team in the Eastern Conference and whoever you think is the 10th team. In the Eastern Conference.
Yes.
Whoever you think, I'm not sure that the separation is going to be nearly as great as it was. And maybe we should have gotten a glimpse into this when Indiana was the team that came out of it last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, we're talking 1 through 10 right now. I'm not so – I don't know how many games is going to separate all of this.
I don't need to do this, but I would probably take like either the Raptors or the Celtics will probably fall out of that. But
okay,
this is really a function of some teams playing better than you expected them to and some teams not performing like you would expect them to.
Right.
The Orlando Magic, we all kind of penciled in at like 3 or 4. You know what I mean? And that's been a disaster. And the Atlanta Hawks, all right, they lost Young, but like if you look at their roster and how they've improved their roster, we all had them around 3, 4, 5, and we all wrote off the Sixers.
Right.
Why? Because they won't have George and Embiid. Well, guess what? They don't need George and Embiid. They've got Edgecombe and Maxey. You know what I mean? And now they got Grime and McCain's back.
And Jacoby, we were both just watching the Heat and the Cavs last night, right?
And it went down to the wire.
Did you think there was a massive difference between those two? Hey, right.
Not at all.
Those look
not at all. And it's like,
the
Cavs are missing Garland. The Heat are literally missing their best player.
Also, the Cavs were beating the shit out of everyone last year.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Didn't they start 17-0 or something, 15-0?
Yeah,
like,
yes.
And I would say that in the Bucks, like, they waved and stretched Dame Lillard and it, like that just seemed like such a bad strategic financial decision.
Right.
But man, you've got one of the 3 best players in the league and you surround him with shooting, play some defense, get a leap from Rollins.
Right.
Giannis looks great.
Yes. He is dominant.
Dude, he spun baseline. I forgot who was covering him. And he just dunked on the 2 help defenders last night.
Well, but in fairness, Jacoby, I just saw a team that you want to trade their franchise player up 30 on that same Mavs team Giannis had to beat at the buzzer.
Those transitive properties don't work, and I did not say I want to trade Ja Morant. I would want to get your response to what it would be if I did say trade Ja Morant.
That team
and
sucks.
If it continues this way, they will trade Ja Morant.
That team sucks, and their friggin' GM got fired, and you're massaging the Giannis went against a double team.
Oh.
Like, why was that even a game if they're worth a crap? The Mavs are horrible. Horrible.
They are horrible.
They can't do anything. And the Bucks had to win in overtime or whatever. Had to win at the buzzer.
Do you know what I just figured out to end the pod? I'll announce it here. Breaking news.
Please.
Dirk is not going to be the new GM of the Mavs. It's going to be the 18-year-old kid with the Luka jersey.
Oh, yeah.
That's what him and Dumont were talking about.
Yeah, good point.
Him and Dumont. He apologized. Then Dumont said, you know what, kid? I like the cut of your cloth. You seem to be a good decision maker.
Yep.
We got you. You're exactly what we need for this franchise. And that's what they were talking about, actually.
I'm just talking about, like, you need it. There's such a massive level of distrust over who you would put in that position. That's the only reason I brought the Dirk thing up. There is such he is a smart guy, and he is a legend. And he's already doing broadcasting. We've seen a lot of guys transfer from broadcasting to coaching or front office. And your fan base is like, you got to be really careful who you bring in there. You do.
Oh, wait. Michael Irvin. Tony Romo. They love the Cowboys.
They do. They do love the Cowboys.
Jerry Jones.
Yep. Not him. They don't love him.
No, they don't.
They don't love him. All right.
They don't.
That's going to do it for another episode of The Mismatch. Thank you to our executive producer, Jesse Lopez, as always. And Jacoby, I'll talk to you later this week.
Must be 21 or over and present in select states. For Kansas, in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino. Or 18 and over and present in D.C., Kentucky, or Wyoming. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts. Or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York.